Call this meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Paul Jendersky is absent. Christine Newman.
Here.
Michael Nesbitt.
Present.
Edgar Titoff.
Present.
Kathy Harris.
Present.
Darcy McSwain.
Present.
Jennifer Rosser Nesbitt.
Present.
Any adjustments to the agenda?
No, sir.
Motion to approve the agenda?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any announcements, public comment? Spicer engineer report.
Good evening, Council. Austin Alexander from Spicer. Let's see, TMF, they've been moving. They've been
Can I
taking
ask
up a
what
lot.
TMF stands for?
Yes, it's technical, managerial, and financial support. So the name of the grant doesn't really seem to make obvious sense what the actual activity is, but it's supposed to support the village's like technical, managerial, and financial capacity to run a good water system by supporting you guys and knowing what the system is.
Okay,
Water.
thanks.
Good question. So since the 12th of May, they've done 362 services out of the 570, so they've got a little over 200 left. But they've been doing all the easy ones first, so they'll probably slow down a little bit now. Of those 362 that they've done, they've found 45 with galvanized, which isn't necessarily bad as long as you can prove it was never connected to lead. Good luck doing that, just with all the documentation required, but 45 containing galvanized and 3 lead services. And so we've notified all those residents that have had a galvanized or a lead line. We're required to let them know within 30 days, and we're just letting them know right when we find it. And then we're working with the DPW, especially on those 3 lead services, to see about either using some of the money that's left over from the phase 1 water improvements to have those replaced, or just get them done sooner rather than later, really. But prioritize those and then get to the galvanized as well. But part of this too is at the end of this project we'll be submitting for some state funding to replace all the galvanized and lead services. So we'll kind of see where we get at the end.
Okay, we don't have that yet.
Right, correct, yeah. The last part of this, after they finish this, I'm guessing they'll probably finish up end of this month, early next month. I'll be more conservative and say next month. But probably by the end of July they should be good. They're just gonna start going through some of the ones that are in the driveways. If there's like an asphalt or a concrete gravel driveway, they'll do those. They've been going through and just getting all the ones in people's yards. Now they're going back to some of the ones they couldn't reach. Then they'll go and do those. And then they'll do everything along the MDOT road with Saginaw Street and South Graham. So, but other than that, they're doing a great job. We've run into a few little hiccups here and there. So, big shout out to the DPW and jumping in all of a sudden and say, hey, we dug this one up and it's leaking now. Come fix it. And they do a great job of working with us there. So, other than that, been in touch with Hart. If any residents have issues with restoration, we'll do that. They do their best as far as trying to get that restoration right. If you leave it too low when you backfill it, then it's going to sink and you got a pothole. But if you leave it too high, then you're going to end up with a mound, and nobody likes that either. So we try and hit that sweet spot, but they're happy to go back and touch things up. Otherwise, on the Code of Ordinance updates, Mark is out of state this week. If you want to let y'all know that he went to the meeting last month in May for the Code of Ordinances, and then they're going to be reviewing the last 2 chapters or additional chapters that they asked about, and then we'll be here for the June meeting. So we'll have an update on that, and pretty close to wrapping all those up now. Applying those changes, getting things published. For 2025, water system improvements, looking forward to getting that done this fall, still kind of on pace with that. We're in our RD application, rural development, doing a couple of environmental pieces, so some of the considerations from Eagle. All the little things you need to look for. Make sure there's no endangered frogs or something like that in the middle of the project. You guys have got a map that shows kind of a general projection of of our construction, both on the TMF and then also with this project and our safe routes. He was asked for that at last month's meeting, and then I'll kind of keep providing an update as we know. So I did my best to sort of project where they'll be at for TMF, but the ones that are more firm for sure, as you can see those areas for the water main improvements for this fall on East Bell, Cherry, Walnut, and then one other little spot kind of more in the heart of town. You know, we have not bid the work yet, so we haven't worked with the contractor to actually get dates, but this fall is what we're shooting for that. And then safe routes to school will be likely next summer, or at least, or maybe even early spring of 2026, and that'll just be sidewalks from Saginaw to Bulldog on Walnut, so we kind of get a nice sidewalk going that whole way. So no updates from them as far as design and kind of what they're working on. I've had them putting together estimates for me for the Category B grant application that the village is putting in. So we've got 2 of those that we need to submit by end of day tomorrow. I'll have you estimates and things to look over tomorrow morning, give the kind of final look through signature. But we're submitting to say, hey, if we're already gonna go in there and do sidewalks all on Walnut, let's see about, you know, redoing the road as well. And that grant would give the village up to $250,000 in matching funds. So village pays $250,000, state pays $250,000, you got a $500,000 road project, or anything above that as well, then the village would cover as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that grant would just cover construction, it doesn't cover engineering, estimates, us for design or being on site, those kind of things would also be on the village's side of it, but yeah, $250,000 goes a long way, especially on some of these road projects. So we're submitting to do that, and then also submitting to do those areas for the phase 2 water main improvements. So specifically on Cherry from Walnut to Pine, I think, if I've got that right.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then on Maple from Cherry to Saginaw, so kind of that kind of area. The same roads that are highlighted for that phase 2 water main improvements, doing those as well, repaving those streets. Some spots that are starting to really look worn out. So we'll kind of see what comes back on both of those. The village did get this same grant 2 years ago, so it kind of hits a little bit. They don't like to give it to the same people every time, but you know, we're optimistic. All you can do is submit and see what comes back. Kind of a long update. Any questions on any of that? All right, thank you all.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This Heart Song Archaeological, can you explain just what they're expecting from us, or?
Yeah, they have a whole bunch of hoops that they want us to jump through, and as far as, we don't actually do anything, but we have to consult with state representatives, where they look for stuff like Indian burial grounds is a big one. I don't think they ever actually look for kind of archaeology, what you would think, like any woolly mammoth bones or anything like that.
That's the SHPO letter that's in the communications.
Okay.
If that tells you it right there.
But they
You
found
need
no
to
adverse
touch it.
effect on the historical properties.
Yep.
Okay, I
They
did.
like arrowheads.
Yeah,
I
that's,
just wondered what, you know, what it is that we'd have to specifically
Anything here.
contact them.
Oh, we don't have to, they'll do it.
yeah, they've already, I believe they've already done their review and everything. So,
Okay.
yeah, so they're good.
Archaeological or culturally sensitive,
Mm.
like, in the
I wasn't
area.
sure on that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Council minutes approval for May 14th of 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for May 14th, 2025.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Commission and committee reports. Planning Commission, May 15th, 2025.
I have a little question here. Jenny, you're on a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Do you want to be on a lot of stuff? I mean, take the minutes for this, that's
Yes.
great. But the rest of them?
It's to help the community.
Okay. But one of them's early in the morning.
I have permission from my employer.
Okay. I was just curious, because that's a lot of stuff.
Well, thank you, Jen.
Thanks.
Motion to accept the planning commission minutes of May 15th, 2025.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Parks and Recreation Committee, May 28th, 2025.
The trains are nice, those trains are nice.
Turned out really nice.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept the Park and Recreation Committee minutes for May 28th, 2025.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Downtown Development Authority for June 6th of 2025.
I have a few more questions. There's 11 people on this board now?
Mm-hmm.
What's the max?
12.
12, okay. And I noticed in the center of the minutes, it said that you mentioned that they need to discuss with the council when they're picking a color. And then they picked the color, and nobody consulted us. Yeah? Black? They
The
picked
village
black.
colors to black, but there was no move to black, just on the banners that they designed.
Oh, it was just the black banners?
Correct.
Because they don't have a, do they have a setup for what they want the downtown to look like when they get done?
Not at this time.
They don't. Okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
It says here, Klein would like Howie to look into expanding DDA
Oh, yeah.
boundaries.
I had that one marked too, Kathy.
Yep.
Really,
They'd like to expand to make sure that, I believe it's M52 Diner is included, as well as just south of Dr. Westerveld's office as well. So it goes up this top side of Chesaning, but not the bottom side or the west side.
Down by Westerfeld's office?
Mm-hmm.
They want to go across the street and pick something up?
Mm-hmm.
And then up by
The park.
the diner's not in it?
I feel like they are. It goes right up to the
I'm
park.
thinking they are.
Yeah, they are already in it.
Okay. Now, the other one, I'm going to tell you, with the, it's just my personal opinion, with the DDA, I would leave it alone. I wouldn't try to do anything to any boundaries in that, because some people can't even get DDAs anymore. And our DDA is quite profitable. So I wouldn't mess with it. You don't know what's going to happen if you start asking, questions. Just to pull in one person on the other side of the road.
The diner is included.
I thought so. Okay.
the freezer and alleys not?
They are.
They are.
They are?
It's all the way out to the industrial park.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what started it. I mean, that's part of what started
It
it.
stops at the park and at
Oh, right, they have a tip out there. Never mind.
yeah at MG&K LLC, 1124 North Saginaw.
The bowling alley's in it though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just both sides of the road.
Mm-hmm. But there's like South Saginaw stops, it picks up East Bell, and then Chesaning Street all the way out to Westervelt and stops at Rivercrest Farms Inc. at that. Yeah, so it would just, I mean, it wouldn't capture a ton by any means.
Do you think any little move is
not.
Well, you have to realize that every time something goes into the DDA, it's money away from the village, so that's another thing to consider. Because they capture those taxes and then we don't, the village doesn't get them. And they have a lot of money, so they don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're gonna rebuild everything downtown.
We looked at those signs for them quite a while ago, and
The black ones?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
black and lumber.
for them.
They're still trying to push,
Okay.
but they're waiting for council to be full, and then they might come next month and make an effort to try to encourage you to allow them to purchase new signage on 52 coming into the village.
Wasn't
I
that
just thought, I just thought we, they were going to, and then we were looking, and then we were supposed to get back right away, I thought.
They didn't.
Just,
Well, they gave us,
Yeah.
they gave us choice, what, there was a couple different
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
suggestions,
you guys told them to go
choices.
back to the drawing board,
Yep.
and they
Yeah.
liked their drawing board.
Oh, well, I mean.
I'm not saying they're stuck on it per se, but they really like what they had.
Also, they
Okay,
actually
I mean-
presented the black flags here.
Not here.
No,
I mean,
No,
it
we
was
have,
presented for future reference, but it was nothing
And that's
was
just
Okay.
52 on both ends of town.
Yeah.
correct.
yeah, they're up right now, aren't they? Isn't there some black signs up?
Just the banners.
Yeah, the banners.
Yeah.
Oh, what signs do they wanna change?
Village signs.
Welcome to the village.
When you
like
come to
wood.
town.
To black?
No,
Village
no, 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 no. You're-
Wood
you're- no, no.
and black.
No.
and- I mean, there were
They had a few
different
different
banners,
designs
like
on black.
stone and
Okay.
timber, just.
So here's an example
It's a
of
little more
one of them that
Okay.
we're looking at.
No, here, no. Black.
So stone and lumber
That's an
and
example.
black and white.
Okay,
And then
Okay.
the other one was, I believe, I can't remember which one I think they liked the first one better than this one. but-
Yeah.
Was that there? Can you see it?
oh, on wood,
Mhm.
okay, yeah,
So I would not be surprised if that gets pursued in July.
okay.
What's this about a roundabout was suggested for M52?
That would,
I don't like
that would be
those.
horrible.
That's
In order
my
to,
fault
horrible.
too.
to help people that can't see the right lane, right turn only signs, the two of them there with the big right turn arrow, with the straight through arrow.
Or the
Then they
one
just
turn-
repaint it again.
Yes,
One way to alleviate that would make it easy on everybody, and I informed Dr. Klein that that is an MDOT decision, not a DDA nor village decision.
and not a
But it was a
roundabout.
suggestion.
Okay,
Could be fun.
I don't think I've ever seen a
Good people watching.
roundabout in
there's a roundabout in the middle of, St. Louis. It's
They're
terrible.
popping up everywhere.
It's terrible.
Let's go back to the signage for a second. Now, if we just did both ends of town, what about the ones that ain't gonna match on end of Ithaca, Walnut?
They discussed updating those as
Beaver.
well, but not to that sign level because those are obviously smaller, taller. They would probably look into fixing those up or paying for new ones for those as well.
Are they gonna change the street
Right.
signs too?
I get it.
It has not been
But I'm a
discussed.
match freak.
I hear
Well,
you.
Nothing to match.
I hear you.
they're all in their DDA. A lot of them on 52. Just a suggestion.
You got a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the Downtown Development Authority minutes of Friday, June 6th at 2025.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Communications, item A, SHPO letter.
Just the SHPO letter that we were waiting on so that we can move forward with phase 2. Like I mentioned before, we should have our application in this week, early next week. Just fixing a few things for Eagle and hopefully get that bid out this summer and start phase 2 this fall. Austin, do you happen to know if the galvanized or lead service lines are within phase 2? I don't believe.
Yeah, I'll check. I don't think any of the ones, 'cause they really haven't been doing a lot of those services.
Yeah, not yet,
We're gonna
so-
go, but, yeah.
Just kind of hope that they would be, but
Yeah, none of the lead ones, for sure, just 3 ones.
probably some galvanized for sure.
Yeah, there was some galvanized in East Bell.
I'll make a motion to accept and file the SHPO letter from the state of Michigan.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Payment of claims.
I just have 3 questions on the bills, and it's only because I don't know what it is. Mission Communications LLC, what is that?
Bart?
Those
That is our
are what
tower.
Those are what communicate the water pit to the tower,
Okay,
and what communicates the sewer to turn on and off.
okay. And then, NMCCA, Madcap subscription application.
For $450.
Oh, it's on page 4, sorry. I mean, it's in general. Okay, no, it's not your number.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Pull it out.
Oh, it's not Madcap either, it's Madcad.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it sounds like.
Oh, that's for Scott. That's for Scott. That's the Northern Michigan Code
Oh.
Officials Association.
Well, speak up, Scott.
I couldn't hear you.
Okay. And then there was
I
one
believe
other one.
we split that with the other municipalities that you work for as well. So.
Okay. And then Elon or Ellen Financial Services?
That's our Visa.
Oh,
It
Visa,
used to
okay.
be the state bank, but now it's been taken over.
Choice one.
Okay. It can't just say Visa? It can't just say. That's it, okay.
I have a question. On page number 2. Concord Electric, repair the digital sign.
Mhm.
How old is that sign?
Ooh, good question.
Ooh. Ooh, yeah, that's the old sign.
We looked it up because it had to be repaired. I want to say it was 2008.
It did, yeah, when we,
Right from when it was
when the parliaments died. When the parliaments died, they used to change the letters on the sign,
Yeah.
and we went to that, so whenever that
So
was.
we were okay when you did that,
Yes, yes,
but I don't remember.
that was a long time ago. It's been there a long time, it's been repaired a lot.
Is it time to look into a new one? Maybe the DPW or DDA could
They've talked about it.
have that?
I feel like.
I thought that was
Look
kinda
at that
steep
fines
for,
and stuff, man.
I don't know what happened.
True,
but-
true.
The
Is it-
electrical downtown is awful. It's not
Yeah.
powerful enough. And then they had to dig out a box, and there were like dead mice in there, and it was interesting, but it's just not enough power to really do everything downtown it needs
Is
to
it
do.
still difficult to work from here, or not so much?
No, it's not too
Okay.
bad.
Once you get used to it?
Yep.
Okay.
Just wish it could be slower. I mean, that's the only thing. You put it on the slowest speed, and
Well, I think because it's an old sign, they probably didn't have those
Right.
available back then.
everything before the light turns green.
let's focus on the agenda, please.
Yeah.
Save the comments.
Okay, I just was wondering.
2008 is what our guess was, and it was down for a week and nobody called. So I will relay that information to DDA. Obviously, some people want it for events, as it is for that purpose, but they've discussed changing it out. They've discussed other options there. So
Okay.
Maybe time to replace it.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills for the month of May in the amount of $128,779.65.
I'll support.
Roll call vote, please.
Paul Jendersky is absent. Christine Newman.
Aye.
Michael Nesbitt.
Yes.
Kathy Harris.
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Jennifer Rosser Nesbit,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff.
Yes.
I've just added, it appears on phase 2 that 4 galvanized on East Bell, 2 on Cherry, 1 galvanized, 1 private side lead. So it will be fixed up during the project.
On to some new business. Item A, phase 2 tree recommendation.
Just like phase 1, in order to put new water main and water lines in, we have to take out some trees, so. We had 3 bids, and this is recommendation based on the low bid. I honestly think, and I know what happened was, the higher bids did not see the red circle on the second page where it says do not bid stump grinding. And they bid stump grinding, and that's why they were higher. When I informed of that, they said, oh, I see it now, our bad. But, so,
Do you guys have that?
so.
I have a copy of that.
I don't have a copy.
Yeah.
3 bids were received, the low bid being $13,350, high bids being $18,500. So the low bid was submitted by Heinz Tree Service.
You don't have those hard.
Okay. It was
It
omitted.
was 18 first.
18,500 was Thurston and Monk, and the 13,350 was Heinz. And again, so when they mentioned what was the difference, I showed them the second page of the bid tab. They recognized it, and they were okay with it because they're all very busy, as you can imagine. Some still going up to Gaylord every weekend and still trying to get people out of the ice storm.
And the bids they're all the same. I mean, it was,
13,350 from
no, I
Heinz Tree
mean,
Service.
what they saw was the same.
Oh, correct.
Okay. I make a motion, we award the bid to Heinz for $13,350.
Support.
Roll call vote, please.
Paul Jenderski is absent. Christine Newman,
Yes.
Michael Nesbit,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Jennifer Rosser Nesbit,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff.
Yes. Item B, county equalization.
So this is just so that they will put the property tax database and maintain it on county website as well as send the tax billing services to us at a cost and 2-year deal. Apparently townships are starting to leave them and they are not happy about it, but I don't know why you wouldn't just let the county do it. You pay county taxes, so.
I thought it was automatic.
So,
And we're just paying for the village tax.
yes.
Yes. Do you know how many parcels we have?
Ooh, I wanna say 890-ish.
890?
870.
Okay.
Trying to go by garbage count.
Lucretia, you can't do this in the office? That's a joke.
I don't think so.
I make a motion that we approve the independent contractor agreement with Equalization Services of Saginaw County.
I'll support.
Roll call for that.
Paul Jenderski is absent. Christine Newman,
Yes.
Michael Nesbit,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Jennifer Rosser Nesbit,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff.
Yes.
I think it just makes sense that if somebody, after a certain time, we send the taxes to the county to collect in the delinquent tax fund, so what, I mean, you're already working with them.
Yep.
Might as well just do the same, so.
Item C, county foreclosure.
Speaking of delinquent tax fund, these taxes were not paid for, I believe, 3 years. They didn't ask for an extension, so these are the 2025 property tax foreclosures for the village. As you see, there's only 2 parcels at this time. This is to sign off that we do not we do not want these parcels.
Which parcels are they?
They're what, on West Walnut? Down in Tornadoville? Too soon? Too soon?
Were they, across from down from the school and across,
Yep.
right in there, those low ones?
Correct.
Okay, no, we don't want those.
That's exactly what it is. So we need to vote to refuse them before July 1.
I'll make a motion to refuse the purchase of the delinquent taxes.
And I'll support.
Roll call.
Paul Jendersky is absent. Christine Newman.
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt.
Yes.
Kathy Harris.
Yes.
Darcy McSwain.
Yes.
Jennifer Rosser Nesbitt.
Yes.
Edgar Titoff.
Yes. Item D, disc golf baskets.
The Tornado got 2 of our brand new disc golf baskets, only 2, which not terrible, but not great. Parks Committee has recommended purchasing through their budget 2 black portal permanent black galvanized stock MVP disc sports black hole ports for disc golf. The course is still being worked on weekends. I know people were in there last Saturday trying to move things around and get it cleaned up. There's a lot of hanging trees and trees leaning on other trees that we're just trying to make room to get equipment back there to keep working. So I'm not sure they'd go up right away, but you know they're not going to be shipped right away either. So I'm trying to think of where they're up in Marlette, and this is where the same company we got them the new baskets when we'd worked up the partnership with Sam Mayer and that crew. So.
I'll make a motion that we purchase the disc golf baskets, 2 of them, for $902.11.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Paul Jendersky is absent. Christine Newman.
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt.
Yes.
Kathy Harris.
Yes.
Darcy McSwain.
Yes.
Jennifer Rosser Nesbitt.
Yes.
Edgar Titoff.
Yes. Old business, item A, farmer's marketplace.
Find anybody that wants to work for the farmer's marketplace? Me neither.
No.
And followed up, looks like everything's moving to online for both older adults and farmers, which two demographics who don't love online things normally, perhaps. So, we can move forward, set the dates in July through August, September like we normally do and try to find somebody and vendor, or we can take a year off, whatever you think is best.
With the state of the tornado going through the park, would it be best to potentially postpone it for the year and look at it again next year? Just 'cause I know there's still stumps that are up that gotta get ground, and there's work that needs to be done in there, and it's not up to 100%.
It was never that big anyways, was it?
Not in the last few years.
No.
Maybe take a year to.
Figure out how to do it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of setting it and then trying to scramble to find somebody either. That's never a good choice.
Who's the gentleman who sells on the side of the road?
Brad's produce.
Brad's Produce is already selling.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And he has everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing
So,
well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's at Andrews and
Yeah,
52
Yeah.
there.
He used to come to us, but
Mhm.
now
He doesn't want to move in the park now?
he was there. He's doing better outside the park.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we, scratch it for this year and see what happens next year.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Department reports, DPW.
This is gonna be a little odd because it was a tale of 2 months in one here.
Yeah.
The first part was great. The second part not so well. Water, we pumped 4,606,000 gallons. Scott and Tyler got the water meters read. We had to run a generator for the water pit for a few days when the power was down. Installed a new shut-off box on J Street, identified 10 internal water lines. Hydro excavation project started and turned on water on the West Bell Cemetery. Sewer was 7,676,000 gallons pumped. We ran a water generator for about 3 days on Walnut Street for the sewer. Mission Control went down. Now, when I say Mission Control went down, ours didn't go down, Mission Control itself went down. 40,000 customers had no communication with their water tower or their water pit or their sewers. We had to do everything manually, and we physically had to, when the city called us and said we don't have water, we had to flip the power on. When they called and said we were gonna overflow the tower, we had to go down and flip the power off. That's how we had to run it for about 3 days,
Okay.
until everything came back online. So that was quite nice. Unplugged both sewer pumps on Walnut Street Station. Tyler molded lagoons. The Walnut Street Station went down. We pulled and got pumps back online. On the streets, we hauled wood chips and mulch for beautification day, as well as placed 28 large flower pots uptown and filled them with chips and dirt. Filled 38 pots for the school with dirt, hung some new banners uptown, cut out a piece of sidewalk uptown to fix wiring for the sign, kept up with garbage, reset the clock, patched streets as we could, picked up brush. Cleaned storm drains as best we could. Scott and Tyler ran the street sweeper one time, and went to Henderson to pick up the potting soil. In the park, we installed new locks on the bathroom doors, tried to jet the drain at the T-ball field. We spent about 3 hours jetting. I think we were going straight down to nowhere, because all we got was sand. So I don't think that drain is actually hooked to anything anymore. So we're gonna have to revisit that and figure out a new way to drain that. Kept the bathrooms and the pavilions clean. Terry kept the grass mowed, cleaned parks and put out trash cans for Rebel Magnolia. Hauled countless loads of brush, hauled chips and mulch for beautification day. Cleaned out leaves in the front of the park. Put up the beautification day banner, washed tables and floor in the big pavilion for the bass tournament, which was great turnout. And you got my son out of bed before 5 o'clock in the morning. That was amazing. My son got up to go over and register for that bass tournament at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's, hey, if you can do that, have one every weekend. Got brush cleaned up around the play areas and baseball fields, cleaned up pavilions at Lumberjack Park for the party. And today we officially made it through the north end of town twice with brush and all the way through town once, so we can move on to something else.
Wow, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you guys did a great job.
Yes.
Thank you.
Chief Oliver.
All right, so we got total of 55 reports last month, a lot of assists. A lot of general assistance is going around. It had to do with a lot of tornado stuff. A couple arrests, both of them were, I think, were both warrant arrests. The assaults were, one was a fight at school and the other one was a domestic. Counterfeit bill came in. That was something where the guy had got it from his bank and then went and tried to use it at the Dollar General, and so, but they didn't notice it until after the fact. So it was when they counted on their tills.
You got it from his bank?
Well, we tracked it back to him, and then he had a receipt saying that he just got it. So, yeah. A couple, we got the frauds, identity frauds and stuff like that still coming on. I had one come in the office today. I can't explain how sorry I feel bad for this couple, but they were out quite a substantial amount of money. More than you could imagine. But yeah, it happens, and this one wasn't even from, they didn't click on anything. It was one of those things where they they gave a check to their granddaughter took a picture of it to send it to their bank, and that's how they got the routing numbers, is through that system somehow. Cleaned them up, so, yeah.
That's, I think, the third week in a row someone's been in, I think one week there was two,
Mhm.
like, it's
It's on the uptick right now.
We had a gentleman stop in after you left, asking if he had had to pay a toll, or if he had a ticket.
I
And
got
it's
that
just,
too.
obviously, just delete them, block them, report them.
I get that one. all the
I
time.
get them on my work phone. Those are fun. Yeah, 2 arrests, both of them, one was a warrant, the other one was, the list of reckless driving arrest, that was an incident with, that was late for a meeting with his family. He was going a little too fast through town. Ryan was there and got him. So we had 50 traffic stops, 23 citations, 86 self-initiated activities. Some of the activities down this month, that has to do with the tornado stuff and, various other things that we had to do that we don't normally do because of that, blocking traffic. A lot of blocking traffic for consumers when they had to run lines and stuff like that. I sat down by Woodlawn all day, the first day blocking traffic while the crews came in and out, just keep people out, and you wouldn't imagine the amount of people that drove by with their phones in their windows as they were driving, just to record damages. I mean, it is what it is. Any questions about that stuff? So, there was a question about the amount of officers that we have in our department and why we have them. First and foremost, that's what our budget calls for, we have the budget for, the money's there to use it, so it's a means of giving the members of the village what they deserve is the most coverage. But I also went and I had dispatch, pull calls inside the village from April 1st, and the time when I called, it was May 19th, so we got from April 1st to May 19th, the number of calls that were taken in the village by both our department and the Saginaw County Sheriff's Office. In total, the Sheriff's Department took 23 calls in the village. Their average response time was 23.69 minutes. Their highest time was 43 minutes, and their lowest time was 7 minutes. For our department, we took 20 calls in the village through that time frame, and our response time was an average of 3.8 minutes. So there's 20 minute difference on average response time. Our highest response time was 7 minutes, and our lowest was 3 seconds. So, I mean, it's apples to oranges. I mean, there's really a no-brainer why we need the department that we have and the amount that we have, it so we can be there faster. Yes, the county's out there, but they're not always right here, they're everywhere, and it takes them forever. And if it's not a call that's a high priority, they'll put it down the bottom of the list and get to it, and they get to it. Doesn't matter, it's a call, we should be there for them. So that's why I wanna have the officers that I have, so we can have the amount of coverage that we have. Hope that clears that matter up.
I have a question, Chief.
Yeah,
With the amount of officers that we have now, we used to stay on until 3 o'clock in the morning.
it's gonna be 3 to 3 shift,
Is it?
yeah.
Okay,
The night rotation will be 3 to 3,
okay.
yeah.
When does that start?
MCOs, waiting on MCOs.
Oh,
They have this new thing that they go through now, it's called a personal history check. It's a 24-page personal history check that you have to fill out.
Oh, wow.
And we have to do our background, and then after that, then they do their investigation. So, why am I even doing a background check if you're gonna do an investigation yourself? But, when they started doing this, they got a new director. The director was a former chief, and he found out they were supposed to be doing things that they're not doing. So he came in and said, well, we gotta do these now. But they don't have the staff for it. They have 2 investigators for every new hire. Now, when I say new hire, I mean department. It's not a new hire you get from the academy, it's every time an officer switches a department, they have to go through this. No matter if they have 15 years of service or not.
Really?
Yeah. It's
So if
nobody,
they've already done
every
it once,
chief,
they have to do it again if it goes?
every time you switch a department, you have to go through it now.
Wow.
Yeah. And none of the chiefs are happy, because they all have these people they employed, but they can't put them on the road and use them because they haven't been activated yet by MCOs.
Huh,
Yeah.
wow.
Mhm.
Bureaucratic red tape, I love
Yeah.
it.
So they're there. I've got the people to give us the coverage, but I'm
Is
waiting
that
on
why
them.
you're waiting on the
Waiting on
last
them
one?
calls so they can activate me, because now their status with their license just says pending for my department. It hasn't been activated.
Well, it's a good thing it doesn't kill their certification.
No, yeah, because it's taken quite a while. Yeah. And from what I understand, like, the one that we recently hired, Ryan, that's just waiting, he's at home, he's been out of work since January. And they haven't even started his investigation.
That long?
Well, they don't start the investigation until I turn the paperwork in to hire him.
Oh,
Mm-hmm, yeah. We had a big, long meeting at the Chiefs meeting, it was a 2-hour one,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
mhm, so,
One more thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. This ice thing that's going around,
okay,
with, you know, things that's going on in California and New York, and now
Uh-huh.
we're supposed to have a big one this weekend. And one of the towns that was
Fricknicks.
mentioned was Chesaning,
Fricknicks.
Saginaw, Bay City.
Yeah, they talked about it in the Chiefs meeting, they had one, they already got word about the one that they just had in Saginaw, and they've got word about the one that this guy's trying to start up again. So they've already got the additional units for the MSP and county on call to be around that time.
Are they actually having one in Chesaning, or is it just people from Chesaning participating?
I think it's just people in Chesaning, cause the Fricknicks are gonna happen downtown Saginaw, where the majority of the members of, like, the gang members will be at.
Okay.
They just had one down there, and they had a little bit, but they shut it down as fast as they could in minimal damage.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Mr. Crowfoot?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Building department had 8 permits issued in May. 3 of them were building, 5 were electrical. The electrical, 4 of those were from the storm. New services had to be installed. 2 of the building permits were demolitions for 116 and 120 South Saginaw, businesses downtown. And then we had 5 complaints. 2 of those are already resolved. One shows resolved on the report from May. The other one is already done this week. And the mess on Flint Street is scheduled for court the first week of July. So it'll be up to the judge whether we get 30 or 60 days to clean up the mess, but I'm sure we'll be back there again doing it for him. Any questions?
I do. How come every electrical permit is different, the price?
Well, the
Are they different
applications
kinds?
have different line items on them.
Okay.
We don't set the price, it's based on what line items they check. So if it's just a service, I believe it's a standard 115. But if they do some circuitry with that and add other
Okay.
things to it, it changes the price.
And these are the electric people applying for these, right?
Yeah, the electrical contractors
Okay.
check the items that they're doing.
So the homeowner doesn't come in and check things?
No.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Any last public comments?
My name is Mark Westlock, 1260 North Main Street. I made a request to have a resolution brought in front of the council. What happened to that? And that's my question.
Well, he wants to annex out of the village. I have some questions on the parcels. Were they both your lot? Or-
Yes, yeah,
Okay, cause one of them looked like it was down the street and not attached.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
one
second-
is an acre that's in St. Charles Township, and another one is 30 or 29 acres or 28 acres that's in Swan Creek.
Okay. And secondly, the follow-up, would you be wanting to stay on the village water and sewer?
Yes.
Okay. I referred it to our village attorney and I await his response. And then
Okay.
should he draft something, it'll be up to you to vote if there is a benefit to take this to the county and dispute it, is the process, so. Appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
I'm Clint May from St. Charles Haunted House Association. So this year is our 40th year anniversary and we kind of want to do something big for it. And so we discussed about doing a fireworks show for the town for it. So I got a proposal here with it. that we got from Wolverine Fireworks Company, so we're just looking to see if we could get approval to go ahead and do a fireworks show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you know when you're thinking about doing this?
It will be in October. Yep. We're trying to go for Halloween night, cause that's normally our last night that we're open. So,
So, I work for Wolverine, as also his mom, Penny Falkenberg. So, I've been with Wolverine and doing fireworks for 19 years now. So we are insured. We insure the thing, the fireworks show. The plan is for this to do it on the rail trail. We'll contact the rail trail and stuff like that to get the approval. So Wolverine does all of the legwork on this. And we will also have the fire department on standby if they're good with that. We normally usually run our own security and stuff too for crowd control. We usually have a full crew. So for that, why we had said to do it on the rail trail, we can block out both ends. We have to have a 210 feet radius for no people. So the rail trail's ideal so that we can block out both ends, no crowd, no people, so no accidents happen.
Would you block it between the two streets?
It would be blocked out down by the haunted house, and then it would be blocked out towards the DNR over that way. We're right on the bridge,
North
right
Street.
across the water.
You wouldn't go over to North Street and block it off?
That's where the next access is.
Yeah.
Where the DNR, we could go farther down, but we only have to go 210 feet.
What about all the trees that are there?
No, there's nothing, we've already surveyed it through Google Earth and stuff, there's no trees that's gonna be in the way. They go 210 feet in the air, but there's no tree lines that we're real concerned about at this point. And if we did have to move it, we could actually do it on the water in a barge also, if that's more ideal. Well, we have one
You have one?
available. It's just, it's basically a pontoon is what it is. It's a reinforced pontoon. It's just a flat deck. It's got a little
Okay.
trolley motor on it and we pull it out there and set up.
Because we used to have barge, big barge.
Used to dig it out every year.
Yes, we did.
So I mean, ideally, I think the haunted house, because they have to have, time to fundraise for it. And so that's something, if even the village wanted to do their own little parking thing at the DNR and charge for parking, that would be something for you guys to figure out, or just leave it free. And I mean, it would put a little bit of money back into the village if we did charge parking, if people wanted to park, at the DNR or somewhere closer. So that would give an option to bring some more money into it. And these are all cakes, these are nothing real big. I mean, so they are commercial grade, they're not consumers grade, but they are all cakes.
Would it be up to us if they did it on the rail trail?
We'd have to get a
We'd
like a license, a consumer license firework. I think we'd have to, some kind of approval from the state of Michigan, so.
Yeah.
We'd have to, display permit, application we'd have to fill out and probably bring to you for approval.
Right.
I think is the proper way to do it.
Wouldn't we need something from the county too, because it's their rail trail?
Oh, that's, she said she.
That's what
county-
Wolverine
she
does,
was-
we do all the paperwork, we'll
Okay.
send it to you guys for the approval, stuff like that, we send in for all of those permits.
Now that's blacktop, I don't know anything about fireworks, so when they're set off, is it gonna be on the blacktop of the rail trail or on the side in the grass?
It
or-
actually is gonna be on the blacktop, but we normally have pieces of OSB that go under
Okay.
all of our stuff.
So you're not
So it
gonna
doesn't
put
leave a
any
mark
marks
or
or
a
Yeah,
hole?
no,
Okay.
Would you be like shooting them over the water then towards the DNR?
they'd be
Is
going
it
straight up.
Straight up,
Yep.
okay.
Hopefully, yeah.
And the trees wouldn't be in the way?
No, usually they have enough clearance for them because it's only 210 feet, but when we walked the rail trail, and then when we did Google Earth, it looked like we could clear all of them.
When they go up, they then come down?
You do have some debris that comes down.
Okay.
And we have to clean up after. I'm in charge of cleaning up all the
Oh.
leaky.
Okay, so
What
you
if it
watch
goes into
it.
the water?
What was that?
What if the debris goes into the water?
Usually most of the stuff that we have is biodegradable, the paper and stuff, so we usually, and we don't usually have a lot of debris
I don't know
after.
anything about fireworks.
Yeah, no, we don't
It's like
usually have a lot of debris after.
Okay, okay.
You guys are all welcome to come out to Flint after the show and I can show you on the 19th. You guys ever wanna come
I
see
don't
a
have
site
a
to
problem
look at
with it as
the
long as,
debris
you know,
cleanup?
the right permits and that kind of stuff.
I think it'd be great for the for
Certainly,
families
you know,
and the
you
town and
know.
stuff.
So everything was out front, that's all.
And on the proposal too, if you guys do have questions, we did, oh, yes, the phone number is on there too for Wolverine. So if you guys do have questions, and I have my business cards if you guys want mine directly, but
Oh, okay.
So you're just basically asking for permission to do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get the proper permitting and let's have a vote on it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I have a question for Mr. Westlock. In your email, the second address is 1100 North Main Street. Is that the proper address? It shows it's being owned by somebody different than I think. Do you mean
That's owned by me,
1100?
right, that's what's on the tax bill.
Okay.
The tax number and the tax address
So the
is on the tax
The
bill.
parcel ID and the address don't match. That's why I'm wondering.
Yeah, it's, two separate townships.
Okay. 1100 North Main. So that shows 24 10 305 1111 000. You have 24 10 305 1109 000. So there's a discrepancy here. I'll figure it out.
If there's any questions, call me,
Yeah.
I'll come down and I'll
Yeah.
bring my tax bills and we can rectify anything that will be needed.
Sounds good.
Have we ever had anybody do this?
Chris.
No. No, we've never had anybody, we've never let anybody get out of the village. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no.
You can check them,
Oh, so it's happens.
but you can. Are you worried that?
Okay.
Well, he's requesting it. We can look at it.
Okay.
Then he would, I think, have to switch to double water bills, double sewer bills. You were paying a lot more in water and sewer, you understand that?
I understand that.
Okay, yeah, he'll be paying double, they're not double anymore, they were, but they're still quite significant, the difference.
Is that just like?
Because he would be an out-of-village person, so he would have to pay the double
So you
rate.
pay what people pay out of the.
That live out on 52 south of town,
Yeah,
he'd pay that rate.
I expect to be competitive with other out-of-village water bills.
Well, the other people don't have sewer, so we'd have to figure out the sewer. They have just water, and they pay double water rates, and so sewer would probably be the same. We've
My
never come.
understanding was half again as much as my water bill.
Well,
That's
no.
the
I think it's
administration fee, that's the administration fee?
No, it's a set fee in the water rate thing as to what they pay, and they pay more per gallon, I believe, after the first, I don't know if it's 3 or 6, I don't know what it is anymore. But after the
We can
first,
work out those details.
well, I'm just letting you know it's gonna be
Yeah, I
costly.
understand.
Probably more than you're gonna save not paying the taxes.
I don't understand that part,
Okay.
but if we can negotiate what the extra cost would be, that would
Yeah.
be acceptable.
Because the only taxes you'll be missing would be the village taxes. You're still gonna get the other taxes.
Right, exactly.
The difference is like $500 per year. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe about $500 a year.
Yeah, and that's what I figured.
Yeah, the parcel and the address don't
Kevin?
match. I'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
I just got a quick question, and it's about the Downtown Development Authority. I've probably been around here a lot longer than most people in this building. And when I lived in Thomas Township, we had downtown development came out there. And when they did, there was a lot of, and it might have all changed, and that's my question. Back then, the downtown development got a big portion of your taxes. They decided what they're gonna spend it on. And then the village, it saved the village money, but it's not necessarily what the village needed. it's with the downtown development decided you need it. And now from what I understand is they're gonna do flyovers. If you build a new deck or anything else, they could increase your taxes. Is that true, or?
I've
Oh,
never heard anything.
I've never
heard
Okay,
it.
I was told-
Flyovers?
They were
Like
drones.
like a
They were
drone?
gonna do drones.
The DDA was?
Yeah.
Our DDA?
I don't know if it's our DDA, but I know a guy in the township, they were talking about doing it to them. And they were gonna come by, if you build a deck or something, they could come by and increase your
That might be
taxes.
happening in other municipalities.
No.
but-
Yeah, I just wanna
That's
know.
not the way
if
it
it's-
works.
if it's
Our
gonna
DDA
happen.
does not own a drone at this
That's
time.
not the way it works.
Nor do they have
Fine.
any building or code enforcement abilities. They are quasi-autonomous, where the council sets their budget and kind of reviews what their goals and wishes are for that year. But that is intermingling of governmental entities and illegal.
And they have nothing to do with the assessments.
Correct.
But
No.
that's how they base their income. is
No,
off the
no,
assessment.
what happens when you set up a DDA, because
That is not
I
true,
was here
Mr.
when we
Kilgore.
did it. When you set up a DDA, the current assessments get locked where they are. And those assessments always go back to the village. The taxes on that part of the assessment, the year that it's passed, stays with the village. Now, with what happened to us, we actually went backwards, so it took us like 6 years before we captured any money at all. And then we started capturing money, because only when those assessments rise, anything above the initial assessment is what the DDA captures. The rest of it stays with the village.
Correct. So the DDA only
If everything
recoup,
drops a little bit,
then the DDA
If it
doesn't
drops,
do anything.
we could go down to collecting nothing if it goes below the original
then the
amount.
DDA collects none of it then.
Correct.
Right.
Okay,
They only
that
get,
was
they
my
only get the
question.
positive increase. And that's
After
what-
the date
That's why
it's
they
set.
try to do things that'll increase your property value,
Yeah.
increase business, kind of business investment, and try to draw people in.
Do
to
we
the
have
event.
input on what gets done?
Pardon?
I mean, do we have input on what gets done?
First Friday of every month
Yep,
at
we need.
7:40 right here.
AM.
7:45 AM.
That's the
It used to be
important part.
7:30, but drop off their kids at school, they pushed it to 7:45.
They
And
meet,
because they
and
couldn't get out of the school.
you can put any input in you want.
Mhm.
But
I mean,
they,
as
they
a
are the,
village, if you guys here have anything to say about what goes on?
Quasi-autonomous.
yeah, it's,
Quasi-autonomous. They can control their budget at the beginning, at the budget vote. Okay, they have community promotions this much. They have facade grant program this much. They have hams this much. And that's essentially.
Like I say, I've been out of it for 30
Yeah.
years, so things have probably changed considerably. But that's what I wanted to know.
the
That's very
DDA,
interesting.
the DDAs have not changed, but I can see where if they wanted to put drones out there and increase the assessments on the people, they're gonna increase their money, because they're not gonna do anything for us.
Mhm.
Because anything that goes up, they get, all of it.
And that doesn't-
So maybe they're counting decks, I don't know. Maybe I don't think Thomas Township needs to count decks, but.
I just threw the deck up for an example.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
but anything, you know, I would think Thomas Township would take care of themselves. But, yeah, and it's only within the DDA, so they would just go up and down that one
We did
road.
everything we could to stop the DD when I was there, but I moved out here, so I never did follow up.
Yeah, it's been very helpful to us over the years, yeah.
Okay.
It's proven well.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Motion to adjourn?
Anybody else? Nobody? Motion to adjourn?
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.